You say one word, no. And before the silence can even settle in the room, your own voice rushes in right behind it. You offer a reason, then a backup reason, then a detailed summary of your weekend, topped with a small apology. Nobody asked for any of it. This pattern has a specific name, the JADE loop. Justify, argue, defend, explain. You justify a decision nobody questioned. You argue a point never up for debate. You defend against an unspoken accusation. And you explain, pushing yourself into a corner. If over-explaining were an act of generosity, it would feel good. It doesn't. It feels like pressure. It feels like a held breath, or the sensation of standing in a courtroom, waiting for a verdict on a choice that should have been yours alone to make. This frantic need to present evidence instantly shifts the balance of the room. The moment you start justifying yourself, you hand the gavel to whoever is listening and volunteer to be the one on trial. Some people recognize this reflex immediately. They are the ones who hear you say no, go completely quiet, and just wait. Or they tilt their head and drop a flat, emotionless why. They know you are uncomfortable with an unadorned no. They understand that if they simply provide enough empty space, you will fill it with context, apologies, and information they didn't have to work to get. While you are focused on building a logical case for your own innocence, you are actually handing them the exact material they need to control the conversation. This behavior often traces back to a specific survival strategy called fawning. Unlike fight, flight, or freeze, fawning is a stress response where the nervous system tries to appease a threat by becoming more appealing to it. For a child in an unpredictable or volatile home, silence felt like a gamble. You learned that narrating your thoughts out loud was a form of armor. The more you explained, the less likely a sudden explosion became. Biologically, the fawning response attempts to merge with the threat. You learn to read the room, matching the frequency of a dangerous person and delivering what they wanted before they even had to ask. Even when the original threat is gone, the nervous system continues to run the old program. You walk into a calm room, talk to a reasonable person, and your body still prepares for a confrontation, because this reflex was installed by fear rather than logic. To a brain wired this way, every interaction, no matter how trivial, registers as a potential verdict. You end up performing for a barista or a stranger as if your safety depends on their approval. This lingering vulnerability is exactly what a manipulative person looks for. They don't need to use force to gain control. They just have to step into the role of the judge you've already created. Notice the mechanics at play. The person across from you has no interest in your logic or your reasons. Their only objective is to keep you in a state of production. Every detail you offer, a scheduling conflict, a financial worry, a fleeting emotion, is harvested. It becomes data they can twist, facts they can mock, or leverage they can hold over you to keep you on the defensive in the future. They can simply say, "Okay, if you say so," and let you handle the rest. You spend the next 3 days ruminating and drafting apologies, essentially interrogating yourself on their behalf while they do nothing. This asymmetry defines the relationship. You are the only one exhausting yourself to justify your existence, while the other person is never required to justify anything at all. When you are dealing with this dynamic, an explanation is not an act of communication. It functions as a surrender. Attaching a reason to a boundary often dissolves the boundary. When you justify why you can't lend money or why you're leaving a party, you hand over a list of conditions that can be argued against. The boundary becomes an opening bid for negotiation. Constant over-explanation acts as a toll you pay to everyone you meet, an attempt to buy permission to make independent choices. You have the power to stop the trial. The only reason the other person can act as a judge is because you volunteered to be the defendant. The solution is to let the word no stand alone. I can't make it, or that doesn't work for me. You state the sentence, and then you stop talking. Doing this will likely trigger intense physical anxiety. It's important to recognize that this discomfort is a withdrawal symptom of an old habit, not a sign of a real emergency. This silence acts as a test. Most people will simply accept the no and move on. They never needed the evidence you were prepared to give. But the person who wants control will lean in. They will push for the why and get sharper when you don't provide it. They are looking for the ammunition they've grown used to receiving. When they push back against your silence, they provide the final piece of evidence you need. Their reaction confirms that you never owed them a reason in the first place. You can walk out of the courtroom whenever you choose.